We're live. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top four and nothing more. Kirk, we're live. Here we are. We've had a blast over the last 2 months, count them 2 months, talking about video games. We are moving to our new series. So everybody who joined us for the last 2 months and has joined the Summit Squad and has enjoyed this video game content that we've done, we're making a slight shift to our next topic, talking about music. So we're going to spend March and April all talking about probably my wheelhouse of topics that if I had to say this was the one that I'm the most passionate about out of everything, these 2 months are going to be just fantastic. So how are you feeling about shifting over to music, our music series, Kirk?
Man, I'm excited. Music's always a fun series. It's a fun group of times because we've built our greatest band ever, and we've gone through some of the decades. This year, we're going to do a little bit more specific things like one-hit wonders. We're going to do maybe guilty pleasures. We're going to probably do types of genre of music, and then we're going to start off really cool by segueing from video games over to music by doing this week our video game soundtracks. Cool thing is, we're also going to do movie soundtracks in a few weeks. So stick around here on our Friday nights, Thursday. Oh, and guys, thanks for joining us here on a Thursday night because tomorrow I fly home. And we are having Louisiana RetroCon. And so hopefully you guys will see us down there at Louisiana RetroCon. We got some exciting things. We're doing some interviews, 5 nights at Freddy's. We're interviewing some of the Gulf State wrestling wrestlers. We are going to do our ministry. So, man, I am excited to hang out with Davey and all the crew, Picking Preacher. We've seen a whole bunch of the guys that have been on the show. I'm excited for tonight, though, because tonight we're bringing on a friend. So as we always do. So always do about this time. So Andy, I'm super excited, man. Video game soundtracks. It was hard. Yeah. It's hard.
So here's the deal. We've had this conversation multiple times, not necessarily specifically to video games, but you are a avid soundtrack fan, and might I say, that's one of the things that you think is missing in today's. I'm foreshadowing when we talk about movies, but there's a lost art of a well organized and conducted soundtrack, right, yeah, to a movie. And I think to an extent we can maybe even add that to games, but I do feel like in the video game world, as of late, it's been bangers too. So there's a lot of they've kept this whole tradition of this going. But with that said, soundtracks in general kind of are a make or break for me when it comes to movies and even video games, because it's kind of maybe even a forgotten element that makes a game good. It's one of those components. So tonight's going to be good, man. I'm sure there's going to be a wide range in the comments between us on the panel. It's just going to be a good discussion, man. I'm very excited for this one.
I'm super excited. You were right though, man. Soundtracks are a lost art. It's a to me, back in the 80s, 90s, it made some of the movies. Some of those movies were absolutely bangers because of the soundtrack. And yeah, just a fun note, my very first CD ever was a soundtrack. So, and I'll probably talk about that next week or the week after. So, yeah. Hey, man, I think we should probably jump in to our conversation. Hey, I see a couple people joining us. Drop down in the comments. What is your top soundtrack? And also, we are doing a giveaway this weekend, friends. We are doing a giveaway at the Louisiana RetroCon. If you put hashtag reboot in the comments, we're going to hand out some Funkos at the con. I'm going to be live the whole con. We're going to be interviewing, doing all kinds of stuff. Don't miss that starting Saturday and Sunday. But drop reboot down in the comments and just for a chance to win. But I think it is that time, Andy, to get down to our guest, and it's time to do our Rushmore. So let's get it. All right, Andy, we have had so many people on our show. We have had friends of friends we've had content creators, we've had YouTubers, we've had so many folks. But look, I'm going to just throw this out there to you. We are having one of your good friends from your past this week. Andy, tell the Rushmore Show and the Summit Squad who we got this week.
Well, if you can rewind back to the year, I didn't even think about this until now, probably 2003, 2004, somewhere around there. I was living in Covington, and we got some new neighbors. So I knocked on the door and introduced myself, and I found out a good old pal answered the door. He was, I think, a grade below me. I don't know, somewhere around there. But starting off high school, we are bringing on a good friend, and he's actually a YouTuber himself and a musician. And so it's just a great kind of combination here to join the show. Welcome to the Summit Squad. Welcome to the Rushmore Show. Justin Toups, what is going on, friend?
What's up, man?
Up, Justin? Welcome. What's up, Zach? Ronaldo.
Cristiano Ronaldo is joining us.
That? You like that? I see that. Throw that comment up there real quick. Dude, you're the GOAT. You're the GOAT student, whoever that is, because they all want to be Ronaldo or Messi. So, anyways, Justin, welcome to the show, man. Tell us, how did you get mixed up with this guy? What do you know about music, video games, the whole nine? Tell us a little about you and your content.
Well, I met Andy, like he said. It was around 2002, 2003 when I moved to the North Shore in Louisiana, and he came and knocked on my door, and he's like, "Hey, my name's Andy. I play drums. You want to come see him?" And that was it. I was already into music because a lot of people in my family play music, and so I went over there, and he was like, "Do you play bass?" And I was like, "Never touched it." I was like, "I'll buy one though." Bought it, and then that was it. That's where my music journey started with that. Video games, I've been playing since I was born. Parents told me I was playing Mario and Zelda before I was even trying to talk and walk around. So video games are definitely my blood.
Yeah. It's funny. So, going back in time, you didn't have a bass, but everybody had internet access, and everyone went to musiciansfriend.com and ordered that starter bass or that starter guitar or whatever. Came with the tiny little amp. Man, flashbacks, all that stuff back then. So, yeah, it was good stuff, man. And then, you currently are working on a project still, right? Am I correct? A music project?
Yeah, we just started up about a month ago. We currently don't have a drummer, but we are still working on some music, doing a lot of covers and stuff like that. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And you know David, he's a part of that, so we're going to have a lot of fun with that.
Yeah, absolutely, man. That's awesome that, still kind of having connections with the same people in that area is super fun, man. So video games, man, and I know this, and I'll say this, the two things that we did back in the day were either get together to play music or watch music videos or play video games. Like, that's the only two things that everything revolved around, or sometimes it was both at the same time.
Oh yeah.
So tonight is going to be good, man. We're going to be talking about video game soundtracks, right? Which I think is kind of a good, here's a good word, amalgamation of two worlds, right there, right? That's a good word. So let us know, man, when we're doing this, right? We're going to, again, let me say this real quick. I see that we got a couple people in the comments, and I haven't been keeping up with them. I'm sorry. But Kirk, when you want to put up that banner and let them know, we are doing a giveaway. So if you are in the comments right now and you want a chance to win a Funko Pop that we're going to pick for you from the RetroCon, where we will be in 2 days, just in the comments, if you put hashtag reboot, put that in there, and we would love to hook you up. You're going to be entered for the giveaway there. Hashtag reboot. Right. So let's get into our discussion tonight. Okay. So criteria, right? And it's the hardest thing about forming any Rushmore is how do I delete 1,000 at least? How do I knock them off of my list? Because I don't know about you guys, but man, when I'm thinking of video game soundtracks, I can think of one system and think of about 50 without even blinking, right? Like there's just so many really good ones, especially we're big fans of this whole retro thing, right? And we like, we're old guys. So we like retro games. But what were you thinking criteria wise? How are you kind of narrowing this list down tonight?
Well, I'm going to tell you, like,
I'm sorry.
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
No, you can go ahead. So what I mostly did was I kind of have a little mix of retro and actually really it's mostly retro and a modern game, but I went for really what kind of connected me to the game, what gave me the most emotion and feeling toward it. So if it just kind of resonated with the theme of the game and if it made me feel a certain way, that stuck with me mostly. So I kind of went with those instead of like you were saying, like not necessarily what's the best game or who everybody finds to be the best, but mostly just what really connected to me.
Nice. Yeah, I totally agree with that. I have a really whole set of ton. I've been watching these comments and saying hello to all our friends, but if I'm being honest, Andy, you nailed it on the head. I mean, I could literally just do my list from the original Nintendo. I mean, I could have just stopped there. But there are some new stuff that's going well, and I've got a few twists along the way. I'm going to do it slightly different because you know how we do it on the Rushmore Show. It's our own criteria, so I might cheat a little bit. Justin, I'm welcoming any kind of cheating going on today because we're going to need it because there are so many good ones. So, yes, man, right. Justin, this is going to be Rosie. And Rosie is just short. If you're new to the Rushmore Show, Rosie is short for Roosevelt. And he's number 4 on the mountain. So we're going to go 4, 3, 2, 1. Who is your Rosie? Or what is your Rosie? And then let's banter about it and see if you picked the right one.
Number 4.
All right. So my Rosie is going to be Streets of Rage 2.
Nice.
Good heck.
It is easily my favorite game on the Sega Genesis, and yep. I was obsessed with the soundtrack from day one. Every single level just fits perfectly with the stages. I remember there's like a level where you're in the swamp, and it's just got this perfect like 90s vibe techno beat to it, and there's like a creature that's making this noise throughout the whole level, and it just blends so well with the music. And I actually remember when I got my first cell phone, I made that my ringtone, and I just, even to this day, I have actually a lot of the tracks on my playlist just to listen to, and I love it. I still go back to this day just to listen to the music itself. Even the newer ones, the Streets of Rage 4, like they brought the same guy who made the music in the original ones for that, and it's just top-notch stuff. Very, very 90s feel, and I love it. Can't get enough of it.
The whole series is great, and I always do my research and kind of like just play around with AI, play around with Google, play around with a bunch of different things just to kind of see what's out there, just to jog the memory and be like, oh yeah, I forgot about that one. Oh yeah, I forgot about that one. So I'm on YouTube. I type it in YouTube to pull up videos of other people, what they're saying. and one of the top videos is Streets of Rage 2 video game soundtrack, and it talks about how it might be the greatest soundtrack ever. And so I'm like, oh, this is interesting. Let me click on it. And so it's a guy, and in his like first few comments was, I've never played this game or whatever, to the effect, but once I turned it on, this might be the greatest video game thing I've ever heard in my life. And he goes on to talk about the history of it and about it being like it done by this pop thing and all the techno beats. And he goes on to play it with a piano, and he talks about all the things that are being added in. And he's like, this is a masterpiece. And I was just like, yeah, that's a jam. It is a jam though, because it's just we talked about it last week, in
Yeah,
beat 'em ups,
beat 'em ups,
and
yeah.
and it's just a fantastic game. And sometimes the game is carried by the soundtrack, and other times it's married to the soundtrack. I was going to talk about that. This one, I mean, they go hand in hand. It's perfect. It's perfect for what you're doing, and
Definitely.
it's great.
Did you come up with that quote, Kirk? Because I love that.
Oh yeah, I
Married and married?
came up with that. That's me. That's all me.
That's where it's at, man. That's good. Hey, I'll say this, and Justin, you brought up a really interesting point. The sounds too. So when it comes to the soundtrack, we immediately are going to say the music, and obviously that's a huge part of it, right? But I think some of the environment sounds, when that, to steal your phrase, Kirk, marries with the music here, I think that just, to me, and when they work together so well, and it doesn't seem like it's competing noises, and sometimes I've listened to the song enough where I just think that the environment sounds are part of the song, right? Is just a chef's kiss cherry on the top.
What do they call the style of music that's like jazz techno, like jazz it's got a term.
Lo-fi?
Whatever, that's what they were calling it in that video, and I was like, man, I feel that. It's just so funky, man. It's cool, man. I like it a lot. Good
pick, man.
You can find a lot of good lo-fi on Spotify too.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was saying you can find a lot of good lo-fi, like video game music, on Spotify.
Oh man, I love it.
I've listened to Mario lo-fi plenty of times.
Hey, look, if you're out there,
lo-fi all day.
I see 4 or 5 people hanging out there. Drop in the comments your top 4. Oh, look, number 1. I feel that.
We got one in here.
I got it behind me. I got it behind me right there, rolling. It's the most iconic. Does it make our mountains today? We'll see, but it is definitely the most iconic. There it is. So Andy, I'll jump in. Music is your month, so I'll let you crash the party at the end. Right. I'll come in hot. So here's the deal. Rosie, for me, well, first we're going to do my criteria. Video games, man, it's been my life for years. Let me tell you, I'm writing up my message for this weekend because I'm preaching for the very first time at the convention. And writing the message, I was kind of thinking, like, why do I call myself a geek? Why do I call myself a nerd? And what are the things that I geek out about? And obviously, video games is one of them. I haven't, over the last 20 years, played like I used to. But I mean, I literally, Justin, I don't know if you've seen this in any of the folks out there, but I literally was going to go to school to be a video game designer. I loved video games that much back in the day. And one of the things that I just absolutely remember is those soundtracks. And I'm going to tell you, what I think is a major criteria is, if I hear it, do I know it? Right? That's a big one to me. I mean, like, you can't be iconic, like the word says, if you don't know it. And there are some that are just really important to me, but if I hear it, I still know it. There was a video in the YouTubes out there, and it was the top 100 songs ever, and it gave you 15 seconds to try and figure out what it was. And man, I was on like 40, and I had missed like 5. Right? I had missed like 5. I was like, Mortal Kombat, Street Fighter, Streets of Rage, Super Mario, Sonic, and I'm just boom, 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 boom. So that's one of the things. The other thing is, look, I've got to be honest. I got to love the game. I got to love it. I mean, I got to play it. I got to want it. I got to jam with it. But here's the big one. Here's my twist. I'm going to come out and I'm picking a collection. for every single one of these. And so I'm throwing it down like that, and then I'm going to pick the best one of the collection, because there are 4, in my opinion. Actually, there's 6. I had 6. 2 of them might not make it because of the whatever. And the collection doesn't count. The song counts. So, or the actual game. So as far as Crushmores go, it's just the game that I picked. But I'm going to tell you the whole thing is a jam. But here we go. I'm going to start off with it's made the show probably about 5 times now. And every single time I bring it up, I talk about the music, and I'm going 100% with the Mega Man series. And my
Nice.
number 1 is absolutely Mega Man 2. So all day long. So Mega Man series, and then if I actually pick a actual song, one song from that, it's either the opening theme or the Dr. Wily theme. They are the most iconic. If I hear it, I heard it today. It was like number 3 on the 100 list. And I was like, that's opening theme Mega Man 2. Love this game. Love the soundtrack. Every single level. If I hear the song, I can be like, that's Flash Man. That's Metal Man. That's Airman. That's Woodman. I know all of them back and forth. That once the songs go in my head, they're in my head for days. Right now, that main theme is just ringing, and I am hearing it right now. But here's the cool thing about it. It's 8-bit. See, here's the difference. Some of these songs that you guys are going to drop are going to be on that CD level, or even that Blu-ray level of music, and it's really cut and done by orchestras. This is literally just sounds that these guys are putting together in 8-bit. It's crazy to me how great it is. It is my number 4. And it's been on my mountain several times, but I love the series so much, and I always talk about the music. Mega Man 2.
All right, so I just put it in the comments to get everyone's opinion. Is this cheating? I mean, you already admitted it's cheating, which we're totally fine with. I want to get the input from the Summit Squad, but I will say this, and you said it. The fact that there's something about it being 8-bit, obviously from a like the creativity that came from this. This was just early on in that, but I think it's also many of those iconic ones, especially for old guys like us, are in that 8-bit genre and style, right? A lot of that we like those. So these are great. These are again, it's because it's your Rushmore. I think the songs are great, but it's honestly, Mega Man was not one that came to my mind when I thought of games. But again, not arguing.
If I'm being honest, it was the first one on my list behind Super Mario Brothers, and I rolled it down as I refined it and been like, yeah, it's good, but it's not that good. It's good, it's not that good. It's good. I like that.
Look what Rad Bash said. Kirk let me pick All Stars for our episode, so he's going to say it's fair. So if you can pick All Stars is one of your favorite games, you get a couple.
Hey Eric, hey Rad, hey Kyle, Shade, welcome to the show. Shade, tell me what's going on there. Mega Man 2 soundtrack crushes with every song. Love that. Yo, Ronaldo in the chat. Eric, that's Kyle. But hey, man, you're my favorite student too, Eric. I love it. So hey, Justin, some of my students in the chat. Hey, Justin, what you think about Mega Man 2?
Mega Man 2 is the first Mega Man game I remember playing. I was obsessed with it. The music's great, and that's another thing. I love 8-bit. There's a reason I still use Tablet to write all my music, because it sounds like 8-bit music. It's just great. I love that MIDI sound. Memory.
Let me
unlock
just
something there for you. Huh?
For a moment.
So we are we love our. Hey, look, we'll just say this. We both love our entrance song, and it's pretty iconic now when it comes around with our fans. We even kind of say it often, but we're throwing this out there. Anybody that wants to take our song and make it better by throwing some old 80s, 90s, 8-bit, 16-bit jazz in there, go ahead, man. Go do it. Help us out.
Let me let me say this because you just said this, and I want to educate you real quick, Kirk. I don't think we've talked about this much. Maybe when Dennis has been on, or a couple of the other band guys have been on. Certainly when Evoked comes on, we'll talk about this. There was this computer program that took the North Shore of Louisiana by storm. Back in the day when everyone was in bands called Tab It. Yeah. So you would essentially write tabs for your songs, but it would kind of be in that 8-bit or like MIDI style of
Really?
sounds and everything. But you could do literally any sound. I mean, there was, limitless options for like instruments and vocal, like just whatever sounds and things that you would do. So most of our music was written through a computer program originally, and then fleshed out into instruments. So
That's
fun stuff there.
That's fun. All right.
Well, you still have Tabit, Justin? No, I don't mean to pause on this, but you still have Tabit?
Oh, I still use it every day.
Nice. Yes,
I've never stopped using it. I still love it. You can't even get it anymore.
I know, that's what
like
I was
the website's down.
Yeah, so you can just write tabs. You can't download from like the library of tabs that they used to have.
No, well, there's like a library. There's a website that has like somebody stored all of it, so you can still get it.
Oh, cool.
That's so. But yeah, man,
you're about to put Andy on a new hobby. You're about.
Yeah, I might have to send you the files, man.
Hey, man,
so down.
Everybody out there in chat world, we're at Rosie and Andy's up. Rosie's our number 4. On the list. We'll go 4, 3, 2, 1. Andy, what's your number 4?
Well, so
well, first off, tell everybody what you were thinking when you built your list.
For sure.
And then tell us your number 4.
Yeah. So here's the deal. Criteria, very simple. I played it. There's a ton of games, and I've shared it plenty of times where, like, there was a window of time where I wasn't really playing video games, so I kind of got out of it. And then now that I'm getting back into it, I'm just interested in like nostalgia. Not that these new games aren't great or I wouldn't like to play them, but I just want to kind of recapture some of those memories and nostalgia of growing up. So all of these games, in fact, the newest game that I'm going to mention tonight is from 2008. So that's the most recent game that I'm going to mention. But outside of that, it's going to be nostalgia. They had to be games that I played and I enjoyed, but they had to be games that I left. If I'm done playing it, I'm still singing the songs or humming the tune. I'm doing something. It's just stuck in my head, and I can't get it out of my head. And
in my head.
Yeah. Unfortunately, it was probably in a game somewhere. But anyway, but here's the deal, man. With my Rosie, this is always difficult. This is always difficult to draw the line in the sand. And I'm going to come out with a heavy hitter. But as I was doing this, it's like I'm thinking to myself, and I'm so confused about what to do. Sometimes I want to throw it all away. I make my list. I just want to throw it all away. But so here I am. There's no denying it. I'm getting older all the time. I'm looking older all the time. But I'm feeling younger in my mind because I'm going with Tony Hawk's Pro Skater because of that song, Superman by Goldfinger. This is it. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. Listen, if I'm going to take your mentality and go for a series, I don't know if there's a better series of soundtracks than it comes to Tony Hawk's. There's just so many good songs. Now, here's what I'll say. Some people are like, well, it's not a true soundtrack. These songs were already put out. They weren't made for this game. Listen, it's a compiled track list of music that accompanies a game. It's a freaking soundtrack. So here's the deal. I love this. This one is the OG, the original, where it all started. And when you open that thing up and you've got Goldfinger right off the bat. Now, let me say this. I've always been a closet ska fan. Now, there's a window of time, and Justin, maybe you remember this too, where there was a battle of the bands that would go on, and the ska band would always win. And I told myself I hated ska just because I was that they would win everything. But listen, put any ska song on and be sad. You can't do it. You can't be sad when a ska song is on. You're immediately, everything's better in life, right? Everything's happy. So, but that song right off the bat, then you've got Primus. Jerry Was a Race Car Driver is on this soundtrack, which is amazing. You got Les Claypool rocking the bass on that. Man, you got so many bangers that are on this soundtrack alone. In fact, I pulled up the playlist just so that I can give you some Dead Kennedys. There's a lot of good like old thrash punk that's on here. The Vandals are on here. You've got Suicidal Tendencies is on here with Psycho Vision is a great song. Dude, there's just so many amazing songs. And here's the deal. This is what started it all. Then you go into the other Tony Hawks and you got the Rage Against the Machine songs that pop up on here. You got some of the old school hip hop that gets on these ones too. That's really cool. Kind of like skater hip hop. This is just fantastic. This is where it's at. And again, if you've seen the video recently, Goldfinger was performing live, and Tony Hawk got on stage with them to sing Superman. That song is synonymous with this game. Wasn't released for this, but it kind of unofficially became the theme song of Tony Hawk's Pro Skater. So that's my number 4, my Rosie, on my list of video game soundtracks.
So I'm not hating on you, and I'm not going to call you a cheater because
you can't.
Part of my criteria was just what you just said, and I wasn't going to go with any compilations because there are some really big bangers. This is on the Rushmore of compilation soundtracks, and it's definitely a soundtrack. But just for the sake of conversation, I was going to avoid that and put any of those. There are several that I have piled up waiting to join in for our Benjamin conversation. But this one is a banger. I remember trying to get those letters, smashing the off the half pipe.
Hidden videotapes, man.
Gosh, I remember like being mind blown thinking, wait a second, that's like a real radio song on that. Because it like changed the game. It went from being the 8-bit, 16-bit stuff we were talking about, 64-bit, to being an actual radio style song. And we were like, what? And then obviously Tony Hawk has an audience, right? Or it has like a cult following, if you will. So all the songs are kind of punk, ska, kind of that old 90s hip hop-ish, but nothing like really off the charts. And a lot of those guys like blew up because of that game. Like they were there and then they went bang there. And so then everybody wanted to do these type of things. Everybody was trying to jump on those games because they saw what happened when this first Tony Hawk game came out. Because they were like, dude, the kids love it. They're eating it up. And that's all we talked about. We didn't really talk about the game that much. We talked about the songs. And that is awesome. It was the first one that I saw out there when I said, hey, and I think it was Dennis. Dennis said, are you just going to have all 4 as Tony Hawk?
I could make my Rushmore just Tony Hawk's games. I mean, those were good. If we were just for compilations. But Justin, you a fan of the Tony Hawk soundtrack or the game?
Oh yeah, I used to play it all the time. I played 2 more than the first one, but the first one I do remember the soundtrack. They actually remade the first 2 a few years ago. They kept most of the soundtrack, but I know they had to take some of the songs off because of license purposes and stuff like that. But yeah, the soundtracks are great. I mean, all of them were, even all the way up to like the Underground games. Those were just the Tony Hawk. Just all Tony Hawk games had a really good soundtrack, and like he said, it was a good mixture of stuff. And like even when it got Underground 2, they had like to where it was like the hip hop, they had the rock stuff, the ska. Like it was just a good mixture for everybody, you know. So I think Tony Hawk games always did a really good job with their soundtracks.
Yeah, it wasn't.
And like you said, it was the first time we started hearing real music in games. I mean, I know like the Grand Theft Auto series started doing it too, but I think Tony Hawk was, the front runner for that.
Yeah, they perfected it for sure, and then they've kept it going on, so which has been really cool. It's been because I mean that's the other thing. Last thing I'll say is that a huge part of the skateboarding culture too is music as well. So that had to be a thing that they thought about. That had to be that was intentional in the game. The whole culture that's involved with that too. So which kind of shows itself in the soundtrack as well. So. All of that said, we are done with our first round. We're done with our Rosies. Look, if you're in the comments and you haven't dropped your top 4 yet, or at least your Rosie, make sure that you do that. Also, remember this. We are going to be at RetroCon in 2 days. if you put reboot in the comments, hashtag reboot in the comments, you can enter yourself into our drawing to get a Funko Pop giveaway from RetroCon this weekend. Also, Kirk mentioned in the beginning of the show, we're going to be live for a majority of the time. So we're going to have tons of content that comes out from that. Hop on live as you can here and there. We're going to be doing some interviews with some guys from Five Nights at Freddy's and just do some things we would have never dreamed would have happened, right? So yeah, Cannon's in the house, and so is Blocky Kid saying Cannon.
So Cannon just wanted to say hello to Blocky Kid Gamer. They're kind of becoming friends a little bit, but that's Picking Preacher's son. Hello, all. Look, Cannon. No, unfortunately not this time, but he will be at the next one. Potentially, we're gonna try and get him there. He's got some stuff. Yeah, but hey, look, let's jump in to our TJ Jazzy Jeff, and that's you. That's our fun name. All our new friends out there. For Thomas Jefferson, that's number 3 on the list. So we're working our way up the mountain. Justin, you're up, man.
All right, so this next game I picked is going to be a bit different. It's another one that's has a bit more of real music in it too. Also, and I'm going to cheat as well, and it's technically 2 games. It's going to be Fallout 4 and Fallout 3.
Nice.
There's just something about that 50s style of music and walking around like the wasteland and just taking out super mutants and giant bugs and all that kind of stuff to 50s music. It gets me. I grew up kind of big into like Motown and things like that. So my grandma listened to that kind of music, and I'm a big fan of it. Like they had such good tracks like Uranium Fever, Set the World on Fire, and just Big Iron. Like it's just great stuff. And again, it's another one I put a bunch of tracks off of it onto my Spotify playlist and daily listens for a lot of these songs.
That's awesome. Yeah. So that whole, again, I haven't played this game, so forgive me, people, that I haven't played this game, but I do understand this whole, 50s kind of style is really cool. So
yeah, well, I mean, it's kind of fitting of the game, because it's all that post-apocalyptic stuff, and it kind of just makes it kind of even more trippy.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited for this new. Is it a movie coming out? The new series that's coming out for it. It looks cool, man. So I'm excited.
Yeah,
for that.
It's a show. Yeah, it looks great.
Yeah, I'm excited. Yeah, it looks good. I think they debuted it at Super Bowl, possibly, or right before it. But that looks cool. I've only played Fallout briefly. I mean, I've played it, but I have not done like a campaign. Like I've not actually played through it because I don't own it. Actually, I do own it, but I don't have a system that it's on. So it was one of those games I got at a thrift store or whatever.
Very long games.
Yeah, but I love those. And Andy, that's probably why you don't play it. You're not into that kind of stuff. But
yeah,
it's not role playing. It's just really long. It's just really long.
I'm okay with the length. My problem now is just the reality of having the time set aside to do those things. If it's going to be
time consuming
forever, it's like I want to play other games too. Like I want to have time to do other things. So I try to, anyway. So I try to do those things. But yeah, so. Hey, I just saw this Blocky Kid. He's going to be there at Retro. He wants to make a short with us. Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way, man, for sure.
Yeah. So, Blocky, we're going to be there. We'll be having our thing going on all the time. We're going to do a bunch of shorts. We're going to ask different Rushmores of all the guests. We're actually the guest MCs, which is really cool. We're going to be interviewing Mustang Mike and Vladimir Koloff on Saturday. And then on Sunday, I'm interviewing all the Five Nights at Freddy's cast, or a few of them, and also Sunday morning I am doing a geeky, nerdy, gamer style church service. It's just gonna be a little Devo to start, but yeah, come and hang out with us, Blocky Kid. It'll be fun. Yeah, we'll be at your dad's booth for sure. So, dude, I guess I'll jump in here. These top 3 here, to me, I could have interchanged them. I might actually get booed a little bit We're having this one so low.
Woo!
Yeah,
I'm already doing you.
we're having this one so low, but I have to do it. To me, there are several iconic. When it comes to iconic songs, I expected this to be number 1 or 2 on that list that I was doing earlier, and it was like 5 or 6, and I was upset. But I'm going with I'm going with the Legend of Zelda series. Right, I'm going with all. Yep, that's my series, and I am coming in strong with Legend of Zelda #1, the 8-bit version, and not because it's necessarily better. Because Breath of the Wild is great. Breath of the Wild is fantastic. Tears of the Kingdom's fantastic. Skyward Sword's fantastic. Ocarina of Time is just next level cool. But to me, when you talk about hear a song, know exactly where it came from, probably fall back 25 years, 30 years into old, teenager me playing this game, trying to beat Ganon. Even 8-year-old me going back even further. It's the very first one. It started it all. It started the adventure. But right off the bat, the Triforce, the waterfall, doom, da-da-da-da-da-da-doom. Look, I'm like ready, and I love how this again. It's one of those married type to me. It's together. It fits the bill, and I just love this whole series so much, and it started it off. #1 is my #3, but the #1 song of that group would be the first one.
I mean, yeah, you don't get too much more iconic than this one. This is one of those like heavy hitters, from a series. If we're going to talk about the main, like the first, the theme from that one is going to be classic. I prefer System of a Down's cover of it, but that's another,
Dude,
that's another discussion we can have. But
that is cool. But listen, if I'm going to say the best, dude, some of that stuff done by in Breath of the Wild is just fantastic. But here's the cool thing: the iconic one that's behind me is done by the same person as the iconic one I just talked about. That guy's amazing. I mean, can you imagine like being like known for this? Like he was renowned. Like bring him in. We need that. And the thing is, uh, if I remember correctly, this song was done in a night, in like a couple hours. Like he was just like he put it together because they originally wanted to use and I don't know the song off the top of my head, and I usually am well versed in this because I've done my homework, but I can't remember. There's a certain song, a famous like composer sonata or whatever that they were going to use, and they couldn't. So there was a timeline and a time crunch to get the song out, and he ended up doing this in like a night. Koji, his name's Koji. Koji's, gosh, I'm drawing a blank, but I'll have it in a second. But yeah, Legend of Zelda, man, I gotta have it on here. It's a banger, dude. It's a banger.
yeah,
Koji Kondo. Koji Kondo is his name. Yep.
yeah. Justin, I feel like I know how you feel about Zelda.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you want to talk about it much right now because I have a feeling that it's somewhere, but
I have a feeling.
I can talk about Zelda is one of 4 things I can talk about forever.
Yeah.
But I could touch a little base on this one because I remember playing it as a kid. Like I said, it was one of the games I was playing before I could even walk. But once I started to understand it, the music hits so hard, especially when you get into the dungeons. I remember the music being so eerie and creepy that like I said, it's another game that matches with the sound effects. You hear like the boss a couple of rooms away, and it's like, oh man, the music's creeping me out. The little roars I'm hearing creep me out. Do I really want to continue? So I felt like it just matched the
talk
atmosphere
about
very
sound
well.
effects. Not until the Super Nintendo version, but and then on did the sound effects become so alive. I mean, like the drops of water that you heard in the dungeon. Boop, boop. When you walk into the ferry and that whole vibe changes, it brought you into another world. I loved it, and I'll tell you, the first one, it's all just the song, but what made uh, what made Zelda so good, the story in the very beginning was very light, if you will. I mean, you're just on an adventure, you're just fighting, whatever. And one of the things that brought the story together was when they went to the Super Nintendo, they brought in all kinds of other things, right? All kinds of other stuff. And the music just amped up on the Link to the Past. And so once that started happening, and every version past that was they leveled up. They leveled up.
Yeah.
Well,
seeing
there's a reason Nintendo hosts orchestras for Zelda every year.
Man.
What was that, Justin?
I said there's a reason Nintendo hosts orchestras for Zelda every year.
yeah.
Like they do a big orchestra for Zelda music every year.
Dude, you just kind of not unlock, because I mean this is something I see all the time, but I unlocked a thing now that I should have talked about when I was in college for the first time, because I was first time in forever. When I was in college, one of the first times, I was taking a music course, and a part of the final project is you had to go and watch the orchestra. And I went and watched the orchestra, but it was a video game one, and it wasn't Zelda. But it's I see Zelda come all the time. But I went and I actually watched that in the orchestra. It was phenomenal. Yeah, it was so cool. Yeah.
Yeah, good pick.
All right, Andy, you're up, man.
All right, man. Well, this one's probably going to potentially be the shocker pick of my picks. Pickin' Preacher is here. Hey, I'm here. Hey, here, I'm Andy.
Hey, here. Way to go, here. Hey, hit the subscribe, hit the likey.
Well, Pickin' Preacher subs already. Anyway, so this is probably the shocker pick that I'm going to do today. This is my newest game out of all of mine, which I already mentioned is 2008, so it's not new, but it's definitely the most recent game of all of them that I'm going to pick today. And this is another compilation. I will say this is my last compilation, so if I'm offending anyone right now for that pick, oh well. This is what I'm going to do. Here it is. I'm going Madden 2008. Madden 08 soundtrack is by far. Let me just give you the track list. Okay, I'm only going to give you a few of them. Fighting by Yellow Card, Running Wild by Airborne, Becoming the Bull, Atreyu. Okay, Time for Plan B by Enter Shikari. We've got the new song by Data Rock. We've got Daylight Slaving from Autumn to Ashes. We've got You Wouldn't Know from Hell Yeah. We've got Tick Tick Boom from The Hives. We've got I Don't Want to Stop, Ozzy Osbourne. We've got Redemption from Shadows Fall, Underclass Hero from Sum 41. We've got The Ripper from The Used. We've got 3s and 7s from Queens of the Stone Age. This soundtrack, and I just gave you the rock songs off of this one because that was what I was all about in 08. But dude, this soundtrack is synonymous with the game. I just have memories of going back to doing the running back drill and having Atreyu play while I'm running over linebackers, right? Like there's so many songs you can play. I used to legitimately, and I'll say this, I had PlayStation 2, and the only game that I had for the longest time, like through college, this is wild, was Madden 2008. And I was in college, and like I graduated in 2014, right? So like I just had 08 for the longest time. Paul said gross. Paul, you are gross. So there we go. You can get that out of here. But yeah, so this soundtrack is so good. The compilation is great. And I would just put, it's weird, man, because 08, it was just a wild time, right? Like it was just, we're in between CDs and different things. I would literally put that on the game on to just let it play, to just let the music play. And it was so good, man. And then there's other ones, but yeah, so lots of core memories from playing Madden 2008. And it's my next one. We got all kinds of things happening. People learning how to spell in our in our comments right now. So Madden 08, guys. Is this
All
the
right.
shop? Or is this where's this rank anywhere?
Okay, so we're talking compilations. Yes. Let's just say yes because it's fantastic. Tony Hawk, Madden, and it was briefly mentioned a little bit ago by Justin, Grand Theft Auto. Those are the three. If you talk about 1, 2, 3, I don't know that you need a 4. It fits all the compilation type styles, that soundtracks. Me though, we may reboot this a little later, because there's a better version. There's a better.
Well, I get that, but for me personally,
I know. And look,
that's what the
I don't
Rushmore's all
hate
about.
what you said, but I will say, it is a funny way of saying shit.
Hey, we've got our first, I believe, person in here for the hashtag reboot. Blocky Kid is in there.
There it is.
If you win, you can potentially. Well,
He'll be there. He could pick his own.
to a reasonable degree. There's some expensive Funko Pops out there. Let's be reasonable. Let's realize that we're not monetizing yet on the Rushmore Show, although we will if we get them subs up. So
hit the sub, hit the like. Let's do that. Hey, so look, we are halfway through our mountain, Justin, and at this point, it's a time for us to kind of share a little bit about what we got going on. So this week is Louisiana RetroCon, the third time that we've come in contact with our friend Davey. We've hung out with him St. Tammany Collectors Con twice, and then so this is the fourth time, I guess, we've actually hung out with him. This is the second time at his show. The last time we were there was this fall show. I'm wearing the shirt, but they've invited us. And listen, I just want to say thank you to Davey. Thank you to his parents. Thank you to all the people that are going out. Pick and Preacher's going to be down there. I had a kind of a something laid on my heart years ago about planting a church to reach the abandoned, the afflicted, the addicted, and the alone. As I was talking with Andy one day, I said, man, what do you think if we just did a little small ministry, just kind of talking to some of the people at the convention? Because to me, the abandoned, the afflicted, the addicted, and the alone were me. That was people that were me. And I was a nerd, and I was a geek, and I was a gamer. And they mixed that with our friends over at Geek Devotions, which we shouted out last week. Those guys would go to conventions, and they would see Christians out there kind of shaming people for going in. And quite honestly, we don't want to be that. We want to. There's a time to hold the feet to the fire, and whether you like to play video games or comic books isn't it. And at least that's what we believe. And that's one of the reasons we started the show. So Sunday we are going to launch our ministry, if you will, called Reboot. So let's check this out.
Prepare to make the jump to light speed.
They're getting closer.
Oh yeah? Watch this.
So it's an unconventional ministry because we're doing it at the convention, and we're calling it Reboot because if you're a Christian or you're not a Christian, you need a reboot. You have to have a restart. You have to have a rebirth. And it's a fun way to kind of throw it all together. It's going to be a fun little message. I'm kind of throwing it together with the Five Nights at Freddy's in mind, video games in mind. And yeah, it'd be a great time. We're just going to hang out and kind of chat a little bit. At St. Tammany Collectors Con, Andy's going to join us, and we'll probably do some worship. So it'll be more of what it is this time. And yeah, we'll get to that. But Andy, I think it is time to announce our friends over at the Culture Box. Down below, Culture Box is going by us right now. And look, here, guys, Culture Box are a bunch of Christians. They invited us to join their team. And hey, Rad Bass just started a Super Friends team of video gamers. Go check all those guys out. Super Retro Force. But we kind of did that with Culture Box. And it's basically like 6 different groups of friends that started before us, and they decided to kind of put their noggins together and support each other. You've got guys that are doing Dungeons and Dragons online, guys that are doing video games online, doing movies 15 years or older. And today we are going to spotlight one of those. Andy, I'm fairly certain you've just dug one out for us, one of our good friends. Who are we going to support today with the Culture Box?
Well, we're going to talk about our good friends over at the Rushmore Show. No, I'm just kidding. We're not going to. Let's chat about playing games with strangers. Playing Games with Strangers is a family-friendly actual play podcast where indie voice actors get together and play tabletop role-playing games. You can listen to the adventure unfold as they roll dice, slay monsters, and have fun, all at playinggameswithstrangers.com. Go check them out, part of the Culture Box, playinggameswithstrangers.com. That's our friends we want to highlight today. Go give them some love and support. Let them know how you found out about them. Let them know the Rushmore Show sent you. So,
yeah,
hey.
That's so awesome. Hey, man, I'm seeing Pick and Preacher's thing real quick. He's going to shoot us a private message, but man, let's celebrate a video game YouTuber getting saved. Man, public announcement on his baptism. Bro, I can't tell you how many times we've had friends come on that don't even realize we're Christian, because that's what I feel is the proof is in the pudding. Show who you are as opposed to flying the colors, if you will. And listen, there's a time that I've been on the street preaching like, man, Pick and Preacher, that's his jam. But there is also a time that community and getting to know someone, welcoming them into their circle does also wonders. There's so many different ways to get the gospel. And we're all about the gospel. Listen, we bend no knee thinking that it's anything but for Jesus. So, hey, look, we're here having fun, but that's who we really are, because we're pastors. We're pastors, and that's our thing, man. And if that offends you, I'm sorry, but you're still welcome here. We love you guys. And yeah, hopefully, if you have any questions, shoot us a message. Or if you have any prayer requests, also, you can put those down in the comments, and we'll get to those at the end. So, hey, we're at the second half of the mountain. Justin, you didn't know you showed up for church, but here it's time. It's time to jump into the second half of the mountain, which is Link. Now, see, this is what I did the mistake when I was putting it all together. I really wanted to throw Zelda here, and I just couldn't. But you're up, man. You're up.
All right. Well, it's funny that it's Link, because my number 2 is going to be Ocarina of Time.
Let's go.
Talk about it. Tell them.
Yeah, I know Andy probably expected that to be my number 1. But no, this game it's easily my favorite game of all time.
Yes.
Every single song on it is just absolutely amazing. I just when you first turn the game on, you get the feeling of just how the game is gonna go, and I just like that the music itself is part of the game, because like you learn how to play different songs and they use to teleport around the world and stuff like that, and you use the song to connect to friends, you use the song to get to your horse. Like everything about the game is just connected to the music, and I just love that. It's just so good. And again, like with every Zelda game's got great music. It's just this one sticks with me so much. And again, it's another game. I have a lot of the soundtracks on my playlist, and I just listen to it all the time. I just cannot get enough of Zelda.
That's a fantastic pick. I did expect this to be your 1, so which makes your George even more interesting for me. I'm excited to see where you're going to go with that.
Yeah.
But this song, and
I think everybody will like my number 1.
Yeah, I have some thoughts, but we'll see. We'll see where you go with that. But yeah, you can't go wrong with this. Kirk, I know you already talked about Zelda, but a different one. So what do you think about Ocarina? Oh, you're muted. You're speechless.
I was speechless because I accidentally turned on the music that you guys were hearing. I was like, oh, let me stop that. Hey, Rev Rats Rides, bro, we want to have you on. You're going to be a part of the show. Welcome. hanging out. Thanks for being here. We're going to have Riv Rats Rides on, hopefully, to do a little music chat just like this coming up soon, maybe in next month. But look, let me just say this. Ocarina of Time. Jeez. The Ocarina of Time is a fantastic game, but here's the deal. It's 64. 64. I didn't play it that much. It's not nostalgic to me. It's a fantastic
Crazy. That's so wild.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game, and it is on a very short long list, because the list is longer than I have time to get done. But there's so many games that I really am like, I've got to finish that game. I've got to complete it. I've got to play through it. And I've played this.
Yeah.
I've just not played through beginning to end. I've only played portions because I was over at Ron's house, or I was over at so-and-so's house. And it's not one of those games, that had
If
a
you
little
don't
save
have
game
it,
there.
if you don't own it, it's hard to play the whole game because it is a lengthy game, right? So
I hate to admit how many times I've beaten it in my life.
So, I mean, I was the reason the sound came on was because I was going to it right here. So yeah, I was gonna start it while we were here. Yeah. So I mean, yeah, because I know that's your jam.
Kirk, I've got a whole stack of 64 games right on the other side of my computer right here, just ready. So it's obviously I've talked about it. It's my jam. It's the goat of systems for me. But just for nostalgia purposes, it's a great pick. So are you gonna rev it up? You gonna rev it up?
Yeah,
you blast that bad boy. Let the people watching enjoy this. I mean, look at the beauty.
So while we're enjoying that,
this is it. You're
oh, hold on.
Oh, we gotta hear that. I think it's too far away. I'm not picking it up.
There we go.
Yeah. Oh man.
Horse gallop and all.
Yeah, everything, man. Dude, the file select song on that game is fantastic.
And look, what's cool about it is it actually uses an ocarina. Yeah, man. Oh, pick
man.
a picture.
I have an ocarina.
Yeah. Hey, what's up, Kevin? Kevin was on the show a couple 2 weeks ago now. Kevin, love you, man. I'll see you this weekend as well. Hey, so I guess that's my turn.
Yes.
I am going to jump in. Now, this was my hardest one. Okay, this is my hardest one because I know the series. I know what I wanted to pick, but I can't. The one to pick out of it, there's two, and I want both of them. But I'm going to pick one, and I'm going to mention this one only because I've mentioned the other one at least twice in this series. This we just passed. So I'm going to mention the other one. I'm going with none other than the Castlevania series. Mad Belmont, shout out to you. And I know you all want me to say Symphony of the Night because that's a jam, but I'm picking Super Castlevania for the Super Nintendo because that thing was a banger. Man, it was a bop. And look, that thing, Super Castlevania, I remember hearing it's in my it's jamming right now. Dun, 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 dun. Bro, this game, when I heard that on Super Nintendo, that was prior to getting Tony Hawk for PlayStation. It was prior to all those other ones. This took that 8-bit and was like, whoa, what is this? I mean, I hear actual instruments and things happening in this, and it is a jam. But look, Symphony of the Night, I'm not hating on you because it really is probably the best because it's one of my favorite, if not the George of games ever. But I'm going to tell you that Super Castlevania was, dude, my mind's just blown thinking about it right now. I played that game so much, swinging that whip, doing all that. It's awesome. Bro, what about Bloody Tears on Simon's Quest? That is a freaking banger too. Listen, it's Castlevania series. So here, I'm going Castlevania series. The whole series is what I'm shouting out because they're all good. I mean, it is a part of the series to absolutely have. But from Castlevania 1, 2, Simon's Quest, to Part 3, Dracula's Curse, Super Castlevania, Symphony of the Night, all the way to the newer stuff, even the Genesis one that was garbage. It was an underrated game, to be honest, but it was considered garbage. They're all great. All the songs great. But Super Castlevania changed my world. So that's mine. Boom.
I have not played this game to know the music, so I know I'm going to be the outcast on this one. But yeah, I got your back.
I got your back. I got your back.
Oh yeah, there you go. Nice.
We'll drop that here in a second. Hey, but I saw hands raised for Justin. Justin, is this a banger for you?
Oh yeah, Castlevania is up there. I think Castlevania is one of the greatest series ever made.
Yeah.
I'm a big Symphony of the Night guy, but my favorite was Curse of Darkness on the Xbox or PlayStation 2. But there are some Castlevania games just that aren't very good. Like you said, some of them are kind of garbage, but none of them have bad music, in my opinion. I think they're all just absolutely phenomenal. And it's just like, to me, it's just a perfect style for it. Just very melodic, and it just fits with that whole medieval goth kind of style that they got going with the game.
Man. It was also that medieval, but it had that rock. It had that
very Iron Maiden like.
I mean, you got into it. I mean, if your head wasn't bobbing while you were killing bats, I mean, do you have a pulse? I mean, those games were just sweet, dude. They're just so good. They're just so good. I mean, it's some of the best music I've heard in video games ever.
There's a metal band called Power Glove that does a lot of like video game music.
Yes,
they have a couple of Castlevania covers that are phenomenal. No, I love them. I saw them live once, and they're great. They don't want people moshing. They give everybody like foam swords to sword fight in their shows and stuff. It's great. It's phenomenal. It's so much fun.
Keith said Daniel Tidwell has Castlevania songs that he makes metal, so that may be another one to check out too. Yeah.
All right.
Awesome.
All right. Here we go. Can you hear it? Can y'all hear it? Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
Very lightly.
It's about light. Here, I'll put it on, and then I'll see if you can hear
it. All right. Well, I guess I'm moving to me. I don't know, Kirk. Are you doing this? Is the joy of live, right? You muted yourself. All right. I'm going to me now. All right. Here's the deal. If I were to take Kirk's criteria for this next game that I'm going to mention for my link, and I took the whole series, it'd be unfair. I'd win immediately, because to me, when it comes to music, it is the single-handed. If you don't think it's the most iconic out of all of them, you're lying. Again, from a series, right? But the game that I'm going to pick from the series, because I'm going to go specific game here, may not be the one that most jump to. But for my own nostalgia purposes, this is my favorite, because I will, like you said, Justin, you play these songs sometimes. There is one particular song from this soundtrack that when I want to just like chill, it's coming on. And that game is from the Nintendo 64, believe it or not, because that's where I just go to for everything. And my game, I have a green screen, so that's going to make this look wonky, but Super Mario 64. Super Mario 64. Now, I know everyone's going to say, well, yeah, well, Super Mario Bros, right? Or Super Mario World, or even Super Mario 3, right? And you're right. You're right. You're absolutely right. They're all fantastic. But for my own nostalgia purposes, it's going to be the N64 version, Super Mario 64. And that song that I'm talking about is the water level, Dire Dire Docks. That song might be the most chill song that I've ever heard. But from beginning to end, I mean, just the opening nod to the dun 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 dun, but it's like the weird kind of like sped up version of it when you're opening the main screen there, and you can click and drag, Mario's nose and mustache everywhere. That's a fantastic one. Dun 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 dun. Like all of that stuff when you're in the castle is amazing. Dun, 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 dun. The whole bomb like world is fantastic. Dude, let me tell you this. The Bowser theme, like when you're against Bowser at the end, that so good. I literally listen to the Mario 64 soundtrack all of the time. And I put it on. I'll tell you, Dire Dire Docks though is probably my favorite one here. The and then you get terrified. The giant eel pokes his head out and kills you every time. Yeah. So it was easy for me. I'm not going compilation here. I am going original songs. My link is going to be Super Mario 64. Hopefully you guys.
64!
Was it a doubt in your mind that I would just go heavy on the 64? I mean, was there any?
Yeah, well, you're wrong. That's it. Yeah. Look, so this song came on. Look, and I'll tell you why you're wrong. And I'm just going to tell you why you're wrong. And for me, it's a good song. And it came on in that top 100, and I was like, I know it's Mario. Maybe Mario Party. Is it a Mario Kart from back in the day? And then you only get like 10 seconds. And Cannon's like, no, Dad, you need to know this. It's Mario 64. And I was like, dang, I bet Andy would have known it. And so yeah, it was up there. It was up there, but it was not it wasn't one that I had on my radar.
You didn't play the 64, so that's what I mean. You don't have a frame of reference on this. So
yeah,
this
I didn't play it.
It's so good.
Yeah, Super Mario 64 is probably my favorite Mario soundtrack.
There it is.
Like you said, the dun 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 dun, dude. Every single day, that's in my head. And my daughter just started playing it too, so like I'm hearing it constantly.
I love it. I love it so much.
Nice. That's great, man. That's great. I love seeing. What's the thoughts on the original Duck Hunt? Yeah.
Thoughts on the original Duck Hunt? That dog is the most annoying creature ever made.
Yeah. See.
Yes.
So mean
characters. There you go.
I think we kind of make that a little dramatic sometimes. He's often talked about. All right, man. So my George. Andy.
Justin's George.
Oh, yeah. It's Justin George. Skipping around.
He's our guest, and you're skipping it, man.
I'm sorry, Justin. I'm sorry.
We're quickly getting to ASMR.
Justin, you're George. You're George.
Right.
George is. Hey, everybody out there. George is our number one. George Washington. He's the first president. Okay. So
let me say this too real quick before we get too far. It's been a minute since we posted this. Hashtag reboot in the comments. You can be entered. We're gonna get you a Funko Pop at the RetroCon this weekend if you leave hashtag reboot in the comments.
Oh, Andy.
What happened? Oh, dude, the water song. And then they said it's just called Aquatic Ambiance. That's the name of the song, but it's so good. I saw a meme the other day that was like, "Hey guys, we just need it's just a game but with some monkeys underwater. It doesn't have to be too crazy." And then it was that song, and it was just like, why are these songs so good?
It's like it's the same. Did you see the TikTok for doing the pause screen for Bond?
Oh yeah. The bangers.
Like, look, I just need a pause screen for 007. Look, it's a movie. You don't have to do anything extra, and he's all like, "Oh, we lose Justin. We lost Justin.
We lost Justin." This is the joy of life. Sometimes this happens.
Oh my gosh, I'm intrigued. By the way, you have to check this out. Africa by Toto on Majora's Mask.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Can we even?
All right, Justin, we got you back, man.
You're
back.
Yeah, my internet went down for a second. Sorry about that.
All good, man. We stall. We're good at this stuff, man.
Yeah, we've done it a time or two. Hey, Justin. So this is your number one, your numero uno. This is the best of the best. You're the best Around. This is the best, man. Here we go. What's your number one?
All right, so my George is easily. I didn't even have to think about this. It was Sonic the Hedgehog 2 for the Sega Genesis.
Oh,
Nice.
There is not a single bad track on that game. Like I listen to it nonstop, and it's actually one of the tracks on there. I'm working on a metal cover for, so
Which one?
I'm pretty
Which
excited about that.
one?
I don't want to spoil that yet.
Oh
Yeah,
man.
I don't want to quite spoil it yet, but I will say it's an early stage level. It's one of the first 4 levels. I'll give you that.
Well, my favorite, and you don't have to say that I'm giving this away. For whatever reason, and I don't even. I think when you're going to rank them, this is not going to be many people's favorite. But the casino zone,
Oh yeah, that's great.
casino one, I love
It goes
that.
perfect with the level. It's so
It
good
is
with the
so
level.
good. Yeah,
But I agree. A lot of people do rank that at the bottom. But I think it's awesome.
I
It
like.
goes
I think I like the
so
level better than any
well.
level. I think I like those levels, the casino ones better. But maybe that's why I like them. Anyway, I don't want to steal your thunder.
Oh no, you're good.
Sonic 2, man, great pick.
It's just it's everything in it is about as good. Like even the final battle against Robotnik, that song is just so good. It's one of the probably the most metal things I have heard on a Genesis game in general. But I mean, Sonic the Hedgehog, every game has always had good music. Like even the newer ones, like the soundtracks are just phenomenal. Like I can't. Every time a new Sonic game's coming out, I get more excited about hearing the new songs or the new tracks that are going to be in the games. So it's great. Like I can't get enough of it. And I still play Sonic the Hedgehog 2 like all the time just because of the music.
Yeah. This is fantastic. I think bonus points because it starts off with the iconic Sega.
Oh yeah. Dun, 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 dun. Oh yeah, I love that, man.
Sonic,
Get me going over here.
Sonic is the one. It isn't the only one, but it is the one banger game that I had in the run. It's not the only one that's good, but I did have it in the running. Kind of sneaking in there in a Benjamin if it was still out there. I love Sonic series, and Sonic 2 is by and large probably their best game and probably the best soundtrack. So I approve this a message. Good call, Genesis. Is fantastic fun.
Justin, it's finally happened today. You took one of my Benjamins that I was reserving. I was holding for later. It just missed the cut for me, but only because it's just so hard to narrow these things down. It obviously is a fantastic and iconic song, soundtrack. Yeah, and then to your point, like you said earlier, all of the sound effects that come along with it, at the speeding up,
Blends
the wing,
so well. Yeah.
everything just blends into the music seamlessly. So it's a fantastic pick, man.
Well, like Kirk said earlier, they used a lot of like the sound effects in the game already to make the music for a lot of older retro games, which is great because it helps it just blend like really well together.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Good pick, man. Good pick. I love it. I'm glad that you picked that one for sure. So I see Keith had to leave, man. I'm sure you're out by now, but we'll see you this weekend, bro. We'll see you this weekend. All right, Kirk, man, we're to you. Your number one, your George of video game soundtracks. What you got?
Yeah. I'm gonna just surprise everybody, and I am going to not pick what you think I'm picking. Yeah, I am. I'm gonna pick exactly what you think I'm picking. I'm picking the Final Fantasy series, and there is. I could have went with the main theme, but it's got to be Final Fantasy VII, One-Winged Angel fighting Sephiroth, and I pulled it up for you guys. Yeah. Bro, listen, it's a banger. But especially when you're doing this for an hour, fight this guy for an hour.
Yeah.
So look, anything by, and I think it was Sean that put it in our comment. that put it in when I was like, hey, what's your top 4 soundtracks or whatever? Obviously, Sean. Sean is a big supporter of the show, and he's also a big supporter of Final Fantasy. But anything Nobuo Uematsu is what he said is doing, and basically he did almost all the Final Fantasy series. But Final Fantasy, I mean, I could have picked several of them. There's so many good things, but One Winged Angel is chef's kiss. The Zanarkand song was awesome. The original theme song is a banger, but I'm going Final Fantasy VII. So as a soundtrack, the whole thing, it's very. And oh, by the way, Justin, Final Fantasy was what I went and saw in the orchestra. So
That's awesome.
it was freaking so cool, so cool. If I could have sat there and filmed it and nobody would have got mad at me, I would have done. I was like trying to sneak like little whatever because you're supposed to be all like prim and proper and wear whatever, and no, I'm trying to like record it. Like it was so cool. Yeah.
I have nothing to go off of. It's well documented how avidly I'm against RPGs. So if the music came from
but the music is the music. The music.
No, that's great. But I have to want to play the game to hear the music. So I mean that's part of it too. So
look, Keith says most of his are Sega Saturn, Persona 5. See, we talked about it. Persona is just not something I really got into tremendously, but I do have that one game, and it does have some cool music.
Yeah, I don't know anything about Final Fantasy. So
look, if Friday the 13th was a rock song,
Yeah. I could totally hear that.
Final Fantasy, yeah, it's my George of everything. Could have went a bunch of different ways, but when I'm talking just video game music, it's composed so well, and One Winged Angel is legit like one of the very top known songs when it comes to that. So that's my number one. Justin, are you an RPG guy, Justin?
I am a massive Final Fantasy guy. I almost threw one of the Final Fantasy games on the list. Final Fantasy 9 almost made it.
Yeah,
that's my favorite one, and I just think the music is phenomenal. It hits the emotions perfectly. Like when certain scenes are hitting and that music kicks in, it's like there's moments where you start to tear up because you actually feel what the characters are feeling because of the music.
Like Final Fantasy 9. Oh no, it's not 9. I love 9. I absolutely love 9. So
that was the last one on the PlayStation.
Like when it came out was 8. Now I love 8 now though. But when 8 came out back in the day, it was kind of I was like, but 9 and 10 or X, bangers. I know
yeah, 9's my favorite. I replay it all the time.
Gran Turismo, dude, Gran Turismo, the jam. Hey, and look, Rev, it doesn't need to be 8-bit. I mean, that song I just played was PlayStation 2, so that's well past 8-bit. So yeah, Gran Turismo, fantastic, and it does have some good songs. All right, Andy, finish our mountains, man.
Well, I'm surprised. But it's finally happening. I'm going to crush more. And Kirk, you got it wrong. But my little tag down there is listen. And that's because my George, by far, Ocarina of Time, get out of here. It is the best. The music in this is so good. Here we go. Let's give it a little. I mean, just come on. It's so good. It's like, I mean, all of this is so amazing. This whole the Lost Woods, man. I mean, come on. Dude, okay, so here it is, and I've said it. This is actually the game that currently. I know it's a long game, but I've actually put off playing all my other 64 games right now because unless it's like a quick play one, like a Mario Kart, I can throw on there. And I can whatever. This is the one that I'm working my way through right now in the little bits of time that I can find. So it's probably going to take me quite a while to do it. because I can't find a window of time to do it. But this is the soundtrack of soundtracks for me, from start to finish, from cutscene to file select, from pause to just everything that you do, the opening scene, and Justin, you said it, you hit the nail on the head. The fact that music is, it wasn't just a soundtrack to a game, right? It would have been amazing if it was, but the fact that music is a key element of this game, right? And the fact that you're learning the songs and this ocarina has this power and all of these things, and that's a key element of this game. Obviously, is going to lend this to be one of the best up there. But Ocarina is my favorite by far. Now, Kirk, we did an N64 episode long ago, right? Long time ago. And just to let the Summit Squad know, we're kicking around this idea and actually gonna do this series. Sometimes we do our. You got something to say? You got something to say?
I think we should call it "Let's Reboot the Rushmore."
Let's reboot the Rushmore. Okay, that's even better.
Or Rushmore reboot.
Yeah, Rushmore reboot. So here's the deal. So sometimes we make our Rushmores and they change over time because we either just kind of get more into it and realize things. And for me, the 64 episode is definitely a reboot. So coming soon, I'm gonna have a video where I put out where I'm gonna give you my brand new top 4 N64 games based on being a little older and wiser. But anyway, all that to say, Ocarina, I'll listen to it. I mean, I'll put this game on just to listen to. I mean, you can put it on Spotify now, right? But there's just something about the visual and the soundtrack together. It is so good. Just the sounds of like entering into the towns and the ranch. Oh my gosh, the horse riding, like that song is so good. It's like my favorite country song is Lon Lon Ranch, right? It's like it's so good. It's like
it's one of my favorite sauces.
What's that?
It's one of my favorite sauces.
Yeah,
ranch.
I do like ranch. Yeah, it's a Crushmore. It's the GOAT. It's my favorite soundtrack, and it's my
Ocarina of Time. I figured it'd be on a list in the comments. Wasn't sure if you guys would have nailed that, but it's great. I'm not gonna go against it. I know the songs. It's not nostalgic to me because I didn't play it that much. I gotta go. See y'all Red RetroCon later. Blocky later. Hey, so what a great set. And look, since we're here at a break,
Justin, real quick. I know you talked about it. I saw you kind of run off screen for a moment. I don't know if there was a reason you ran off screen and came back.
Oh yeah, I got little buddy Link was dancing to the music.
Well, last time, one of the times we talked about Link, Paul, who said gross earlier, actually wore a Link costume. So
That's awesome. I got my green on, so that works.
Close.
Well, Andy, since I didn't get it up here, I actually put a different game on. But I got that Super Castlevania for you. Listen to this bang. Let me fast forward it a little bit. Gotta get to that. The guitar ain't hitting yet. Here it comes. Oh, bro. About to hit it.
Listen, I get it. I just don't have any nostalgia.
I know. I'm just sharing.
I think it sounds fun. It sounds fun.
But hey, let's do our gosh, my brain is so in the music is bouncing around. Hey, let's do our Benjamins. Do our Benjamins. Deep Within the Heart from Ninja Gaiden. Bangers. Hey, so it is time for All About the Benjamins. Guys, if you've been here a little bit of time, this is our honorable mention. We'll be right back. Right. So look, I had a little idea a couple days ago. I was like, hey, look, coming in the future, I think during the Benjamin time, we welcome some of our guests that are down in the comments onto the show. So coming soon, if that's something you'd want to jump on and kind of share what your top four are or whatever and come and be a part of the Benjamins, hey, I'll send the link out later. But we're going to finish our show this way. And look, so Justin, this is how it is. Now we can't crush. We cannot match with any song. Well, anything that we've already done or anything that we will do, all has to be brand new, something we've never heard. But this, it doesn't have to be a full-on diatribe about why you love it. You're just adding a few extra games and songs. So what is the first thing? We call it Benjamins because it's kind of like the next guy that should be on the mountain. What would be the next game or the next soundtrack that you would have to have on the list that didn't get mentioned today?
I would probably throw Earthbound on there from the Super Nintendo.
Yes,
Banger.
very nice.
Banger.
I know it's an
Number-
RPG, but I did put that on there because it's kind of reminiscent of Pokemon to me. Very,
Yeah.
very along those same kind of lines. So
It's a banger.
Yeah.
Hey, look, the only right answer that we missed is my turn, and it's the regular Super Mario Brothers.
yeah, I
It
mean,
is-
yeah, that's fair.
It's Mr. Iconic. But I'm not going there. Listen,
Oh,
I'm not
oh,
going there.
whoa.
I'm not going there because I don't think anybody's going to go there because we all know. But that's just thrown out there. That's the real answer. If that doesn't make anybody's list, we're all false because it is the only one that everybody. I mean, there are people that don't even have TVs that know that song. It's ridiculous. So
I feel like we left it off just because it's a given.
yeah, it's a given. So like
Yeah,
that's kind of
for sure.
like one of those. Yeah. So just anybody in the comments, Super Mario 1, it's the most iconic, but it's not my favorite. It's not my favorite. I'm gonna go with the one I mentioned earlier. I'm going back to the same series, Symphony of the Night. Castlevania Symphony of the Night. It's just a banger. The whole soundtrack is great. It's phenomenal. That's the only time I'm going to go back into one of the other four series, but I had to have that. I was really twisted which one to put on. So yeah, Symphony of the Night.
All right. So I get a back-to-back here. I get two picks, and I've got a whole. I'm going to try to just pull from these games that are physical copies right next to me. Okay, I'm going to attempt as much as I can here. I'm gonna go along your lines, Kirk, and do a twofer on this one, just in a sense to get this out because they're just so similar, right? I mean, it's just a soundtrack, right? And I'm going to what I really wanted to get on my list. It's so whimsical, it's so funny, it matches the game perfectly. I'm going to Banjo Kazooie and Banjo
Right here on my list, right there.
Yeah, it's
For sure.
yeah. Like this game is so good. It's fantastic. It's such a great game.
It is.
Rare. The banjo, like the fact that his name's Banjo and like the whole soundtrack is like banjo, polka, folk,
Yep.
whimsical, funny music. Yeah, it almost is like a like Danny Elfman kind of style music. So I love that one. And then
Well, the cool thing I like about Banjo Kazooie in the first one, the witch's theme, it changes depending on where you're at in the castle.
Yes.
It's like still the
Yes.
same song, but it changes like its
good.
like genre and its style. It's really cool.
Gruntilda, whatever her name. Yeah,
Untilda,
she's-
yeah.
yeah, fantastic. Yeah, because there's like an aquatic version and there's all kinds of different. It's so good, so good. So since I get back-to-back picks, this started it all. I think this is why we not started the whole music thing, but started our discussion at least on this. And you touched on it a minute ago, and I'm going to.
There it is.
007.
There's only one other pause scene that might be better than that.
This is in the Rushmore of pause screens for sure.
Yeah. There's one more for sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
So
that-
anyway,
Dude,
and
that whole
here's the thing.
TikTok meme. That,
Yeah. This game, it's like all the 007 songs, but like with electric guitar to it also. It's just so cool, man. It's
All right.
fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with Metal Gear Solid as my next pick. I could have go with the whole series again, one of those series things. Metal Gear Solid. I'm going with the very first one at PlayStation. That's my go.
Nice.
You're up,
Nice.
Justin, with
Justin,
two.
you get a back-to-back pick here. So you get 2 picks back-to-back.
Back to back. Perfect. Because I had 2 of them. I couldn't decide which one I wanted to say. So this one's a little bit weird. Tetris.
Oh, dude,
Oh,
thank you. Yes.
You
So-
snake, man, you snake. I was gonna throw that out there as well.
Iconic.
Yeah, there's like 2 or 3 different like songs you can pick, I think, in the Game Boy version, and all of them were so good. It's just so hypnotic when you're playing it too. You just get like tunnel vision playing.
Mhm.
But my other choice is more of a newer game, Red Dead Redemption 2. I'm a big fan of like Americana style music, and the banjos and just the acoustic guitars and the whistling and the raw like vocals. I love it. And there's a scene at the end of the game where your character's walking, like riding back to his base or whatever, and it plays this cutscene, and a song just plays, and it literally, it makes you tear up, it gives you goosebumps, and it just hits the emotions perfectly. But yeah, that game is the music's just phenomenal in it.
Yeah.
So I put that out there, and one of the teachers I used to teach with last year, she says that her husband plays that in her car all the time, and now she's starting to
It's great.
yeah,
it's so good.
It's one of those. Hey, so now it's my turn, and it's my turn to shift gears a little bit and go towards the compilations. And I got to take it. Look, we're going twofer.
GTA. Yeah.
Grand
Yeah.
Theft Auto,
Yeah.
San Andreas,
Yeah.
and Vice City. That Vice City one, that
Vice City.
80s soundtrack,
Vice
that is
City.
all me
Oh
all
yeah,
day.
for sure.
And then this is that hip hop one, bro, all day. But this one right here, this is it. The Vice City, money.
Iran is like the.
I remember seeing the commercial for that all the time
I
too.
ran so far away.
Yeah.
All I think of is GTA now. You know, when I hear that song.
Gotta get away.
Yeah. Good pick,
Yeah.
man. Good pick.
Look,
So-
the great part about this. Wait, let me just share this. On the back of it, on the back of the card, www.rockstar.games.com/Vice City soundtrack available at Epic Records. It talks about the soundtrack on it. Like, you go get the soundtrack. It's cool.
Yeah.
Great game.
All right. So
This one says soundtrack available on Interscope Records. So this one's at Epic Records. This one's at Interscope.
All
All
right.
right.
I get my last 2 here.
I need your
And
last
the problem is I have 3 to pick from.
Oh,
And
sorry.
neither of them, they're not in the same series, so I can't
And I'm
do
not
that.
picking yours, I can promise.
I know you're not. So I'm going to throw one out there. I'm going to throw one out there that is not usually thought of. But Justin, on one of your lives recently, I jumped in the chat and I mentioned this game. I think I asked about like underrated games or something. I don't know, something like that. Or we had an episode about that recently. But this game to me is one of those for the 64. And the music is fantastic. And I'm going to, and you'll have to pardon, the cart is quite damaged as far as the sticker, but I'm going to Yoshi's Story because of that.
Oh man,
it's so,
bum, 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 bum.
dude, how can you
Mhm.
not be? It's
At first level too. Dun 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 dun. Bum,
So
bum,
the
bum, bum,
soundtrack
bum,
is
bum, bum.
the soundtrack is basically all sung by Yoshi. Like it's all in Yoshi voices and
Yeah,
stuff. And it's just
so adorable. It's adorable, dude.
it's so cute, man.
Such a feel-good
It's
game.
good. And like the graphics of it too, like the artwork and the style matches the sound so
Mhm.
perfectly. And it's such a good game, man. It's difficult enough to like be fun and challenging, but it's also not too difficult to where you feel like
Yeah.
you can't do it. So it's got the perfect
Exactly.
level of that. I think anyone can pick up that game. I know we're not talking about the game specifically, but I think Yoshi's Story needs a lot more love than what it gets.
Yeah.
So that's going to be.
Well, it's funny you bring it up because that's the game I'll be streaming next month.
Oh, dude, I'm in. I'm watching. So yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah, that'll be the next game.
And I'm going to do this one because I didn't get one from this series in yet. The one that I'm not going to mention, I already did get one from the series, so I do feel like I got at least some love when it comes to that. And I've got a song for you guys to hear.
Okay.
DK64. Yeah. So again, that's
I thought that might be on your list when we were talking about the ambiance.
Yeah. So I obviously listen. I can mention all the DK. I can go the whole series. Donkey Kong Country. It's a beautiful, beautiful song. The aquatic ambience, but I'm going to go to DK64 because of the DK rap, and it does work in a lot of those classic songs, kind of in like a revamped version. Plus, the game's just fantastic. It's so good. Anyway, that's my last pick, man. I did it.
Just saying goodbye to Shade 86. Thanks for coming and hanging out with us.
Appreciate you, man.
Hey, so here we go. Another compilation. Party Hard, Andrew WK.
Yes, yeah.
Anthem, Good Charlotte. Oh no, hell no, by Nappy Roots. The Energy Audio Vent, Walk Away, Epidemic, Get Over It, Damian Kulash, Body Crumbles by Dry Cell, and Fine Again by Seether, Madden 2003. Bro, I played, dude, that coffin corner punt, listening to the anthem. It's every time I hear the anthem, I see the punt going to the pylon, right? Oh, Good Charlotte, man. I love that soundtrack. That's the winner for me in the Madden series, as far as soundtracks go.
It's a good one. That Party Hard from Andrew WK does make you want to hit people, so that's good.
Oh, God.
Oh, for sure.
I need that. I need that when Cannon comes out to play football.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, look, Justin, you've got the final pick. This is every other game that we haven't mentioned today is open. So where are we ending this whole night with?
One final pick, huh? All right.
This is it.
Let's see. I think I might have to go with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for the original Nintendo. That, I mean, it just kicks in with that awesome that it's. I mean, it's pretty much, you know, the Queen song, the dun 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 dun. It's so good, and then you get into the game, you ba 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 da da. So good, so good. Never gets old. I love it. And it's just got that.
Game is so
man,
hard.
everything about that game is just so good. It's a
Little
hard
video.
game. It's very hard.
You try to fight them little Mousers and try to avoid the band.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
man.
good.
Yeah, that's good. There's so many
It's
things.
a good one.
Dude. Well,
Rev Rats. What does the WK stand for in Andrew WK? Is it
Rev Rats. I know what the WK. Let's see.
Andrew will kill?
That's the first thing that came to mind, too. Hey,
What's
Rev,
your-
I hope it's PG-13 if you know it. I hope it. I hope. But yeah, I don't know what Andrew WK.
Yeah, we shouldn't say what it means. I just looked it up.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, there you go.
There you go. Let's not look that up. Let's probably not say that.
Well, look,
All right,
man,
man. So that's our show today. So, gosh, Justin, I've met you in the comments. I've met you on Facebook. Now to get to meet you kind of in person. If you're able to come and hang out with us at Louisiana RetroCon, this is a perfect time for me to plug that. Hey, everybody that's out there, if you're watching this before this weekend, I recommend you come on down to Morgan City Saturday. We're gonna have a little panel with Fave 5 from Friends. He was on our show, Jamie Ray. We're gonna go around all the booths and we're gonna pick our top 4 favorite things at the show, and we are going to highlight it at the show. Also, we are going to do a panel with Gulf South Wrestling's current champion, as well as the director and CEO of Gulf State, which he's going for the tag team titles this weekend or next weekend. Mustang Mike and Vladimir Koloff. We're also going to be hanging out at the show just asking people to come and be a part of the Summit Squad, giving away some prizes, giving away stickers. Come visit, take a picture with us. And then on Sunday, Reboot. We're kicking off at 11 o'clock at Morgan City with a little message. Just hang out and come and meet me, because Andy can't make it this time, but we'll be busting back at St. Tammany Collectorcon. I'm going to preach this time. Andy's going to drop it down next time. So that'll be over there in Madisonville, Louisiana. And also 5 nights at Freddy's has a movie out. And there's like 7 or 8 different people that were in that movie. I think we're going to have 2 of the actors and then maybe 3 of the kids that are going to be in a panel. If you want to come and ask questions, let's see with them. We're going to be live the whole time. As long as I don't run out of power or run out of space, we're going to be on the whole time we're there, walking around, interviewing people. So come. If you can't come to the show, check us out here and see what's going on. We're going to have so many different shorts from it. We'll cut it all up. We'll make it all kinds of fun stuff. Lots of Rushmores. If you've seen before, a lot of our Rushmores, if you will, have come from the conventions. I've said enough. We've hung out a while. It has been a great time. Thank you, Rev Rats, for hanging all the way to the end here, and anybody else that's out there. We totally appreciate you guys. And Andy, you want to say anything to my friends, our friends?
Well, I love all of you.
And I think it's time to go play some Super Castlevania. That's what I think it is.
I got to get back to this ocarina, man. I'm slacking. I just woke the man
Hey,
up.
I'll give you a tip. When you get to the water temple, do not open any doors. Just get as many keys as you possibly can before you open any doors.
There you go.
There's a good tip for you.
Good tip.
Yeah. I did drop it in the comments just now. I'm cheating and throwing in the one that I didn't get to pick, and it was Mario Kart 64. Every track is fantastic. But anyway, cheating and throwing in another one. But hey, Rev Rats just asked about if we had all minister shows. We've had those for sure. We've got some one.
Yeah, Rev, our very first. So we're just to throw this out there. Andy and I are both pastors in the faith. We both actually, Andy's ordained. I'm licensed under the same umbrella, and we both have our credentialing with the Assemblies of God. And so we both participate there. We both youth pastors, young adult pastors, children's pastors, and honestly, we're both teachers. Just Andy doesn't do it anymore, and I do it now. And so we do that. And then so since starting the show, we have actually had 4 episodes that I can think of off the top of my head that are Christian based. One of them is the Men of the Bible, and then we actually did 2 shows at Easter and 2 shows at Christmas that kind of fall in line with a lot of that. And then we plan on having more in the future. But now that we're live, we're going to start having other kinds of content that's shorter that will be coming out. Like Andy's going to do some Rushmore reboots. And when Reboot actually starts, I think we're going to start throwing some geeky messages out in a whole nother place, a chapter, if that's something that you guys want to jump in and check out some of the messages that we're doing, whether it's Five Nights at Freddy's or, one of these Ocarina of Time or whatever. So we'll have some of that kind of content out there if anybody wants to check it soon. So to be honest, both Andy and I are finishing school. My master's is up in the end of the summer, and Andy's degree is also up towards the end of the summer. Actually, in a couple of weeks, he's finishing before me. So we'll have a lot more time to do some of that content. But Andy, I think that's enough.
We've got almost 2 hours, man. It's been a fun time. Justin, thanks for hopping on, man. Appreciate it.
Tell our friends good night.
Oh, definitely. Had a good time.
Justin, thanks. You're welcome. You're welcome anytime. Oh, tell them where they can find you, Justin.
I've got a small YouTube channel, nothing big right now. You can just go to youtube.com/ I want to say you just put in like @Spoot, SPUOT, which is just my last name backwards. I'm pretty sure that's the link. I'm not good with it. I got a couple buddies that usually post it out for me whenever I go live and stuff like that. But I usually just do some live streams of games. This year, I kind of cut back a little bit because of my daughters and stuff like that. So I decided to do one game per month, and I let my community decide, like vote on it, what I'm playing.
Is this it?
Yes, that's it. So I just
The Rushmore
finished
Show
streaming.
is now subscribed.
Were we not
Awesome. Appreciate
subscribed?
that.
You know what? I was subscribed. Girl Dad was subscribed. That's what it was.
I think you
Rushmore
were
Show is now subscribed, and you're playing
Awesome.
some Shredder's
Appreciate that.
Revenge if anybody's interested. Or one of the last videos 3 months ago was Shredder's Revenge. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and I'm trying to stick to live streaming at least once a week now. But it gets a little rough here and there, but it's a lot of fun. I got a good community that supports me, so that helps a lot.
Let me jump off. Hey, Rev. So, if I'm being honest, we have had, I think, when the year started, we had about 60 or so guests over the last 2 years. About 56, 60 guests. My list is somewhere over here. Actually, I think it's in here. And I had them all written down. But out of all of those guests, Rev, I would say, I'd venture to say, over half, probably 60 or 70% of them are all pastors that we have met along the way, friends of the faith. Pick and Preacher was just on. He's a pastor. We've had so many different other friends in the faith come on, and we have had, this is episode 109. So out of 109, 105 of them have been basically us just shooting the breeze about pop culture and friends with anybody that wants to come on. So several times it's been an all minister panel talking about non-Christian things. So I'm sorry I misunderstood that, but hopefully that clears up the mud. So yeah. So most of our guests have either been creators that are curious in this world. So like music creators like yourself. So we ask them to come on for music, video game creators for video games, or pastors in the faith, or just our friends like Justin. So friends of family, just other folks. That's kind of our network of people that kind of hang out. So plenty of pastors have come on. Rev, we like to say it this way. We're not a Christian podcast, but we're not a Christian podcast. So yeah, we definitely love the Lord. And we definitely want to use our tools for the right. But when you come on, you're not going to always hear just biblical talk unless that's where you want to go and get that content. And we'll have that content adjacent later. But thanks for asking. We really appreciate the support. Hey, Andy, it really is time to go.
It really is. Again, appreciate you guys, everybody who joined in. I know we got 3 viewers right now, but we've had several people on tonight. Appreciate
subscribe, like, do all those things right now.
Do all that stuff, and we're going to say goodnight like we always do, and we'll see you at the RetroCon. This is the Rushmore Show, where it's all about your top 4
and nothing more.
Peace.